Can you turn down a good sausage, though? Can you turn down a good sausage, though?
No, you cannot. We're stuck on repeat. I'm James J. It's Tuesday night. That means it's time for the Midwest Motorsports Road Series to get underway. We are at the famous Mount Panorama circuit in Bathurst, Australia, host of the 12-hour Australian supercar race. Tonight we have 30 drivers, 15 GT3 cars, 15 GT4 cars. They're going to attack Mount Panorama, the mountain, the 3.8 mile circuit. Street circuit, normally used for country roads. Today, the Midwest Motorsports Mixed Class Road Series is going to take control. Split start. I'm James J., joined by Adam Sondag. Adam, 2 races left in the season. Let's have a good race, man. What do you think we're going to see?
Well, surprise of the night already. We've got former champion joining us back again, Max Bauer. So we've got some speed coming in. So I'll be excited to see how Max does here. Acclimating to the GT3s. Last ran with the GT4s, was dominant in the GT4s. So I'm excited to see what happens. Fast laps from Johan de Roy in the GT3s and Nicholas Aslan in the GT4s. So we'll see what happens here. Jason Phillips looked fast all qualifying. I think we're going to see a lot of interesting stuff. As I say, almost every week, it seems, it's going to take some patience. These GT3 cars are going to have to understand that there are going to be different points where the GT4s will need to brake, or they will not be able to get around them at the top of the mountain, different things like that. So we'll see who makes the mistakes, who has the speed, and who makes the right decisions.
Congratulations to our pole sitter, Johan de Roy, 0.03 seconds in front of Jason Phillips and the Big Ass Fans NSX. Shea McNeely leading the points. We'll start on the second row besides the orange NSX of Jason Wahlberg. And the GT3 cars are on the front straightaway. And we are racing Johan de Roy in the Porsche on the inside. Turn 1 is the left. Is Jason Phillips going to hold strong on the outside? Drag race, Shea McNeely in the Porsche gets a great run from the second row. Now inside Jason Phillips, the next turn is a right-hander. Jason Phillips giving Johan de Roy a little push, but Shea McNeely is on the outside in the purple Porsche. Let's see if Shea McNeely can hold on to second. Remember, all 4Xs and above will be reviewed. There's the GT3 cars start to single file out, and the GT4 cars not too far behind. Congrats to Nick Aslan in the Mercedes, Exalta Mercedes, with Chet Miller right behind. Up front in the GT3s as we go up the hill, gaining elevation little by little. Careful on the throttle, cold tires, low pressures. Important turn here, Skyline, as they come down. Now we start going down the hill as the track seems to get narrow and narrow, using some of the curbing. Riding with Shea McNeely, your points leader, in third, through the winding S's before we get to the final left. And a long back straight, Shea McNeely looking inside. Jason Phillips, not yet. Adam, what a great start for the GT3s. Yeah.
Just giving Jason something to think about. Yeah, I mean, we talked about it before the race. You, James, myself, and race director Josh Watt. This is a civilian street, right? This isn't a perfectly manicured race circuit. So I think what I love about especially the top of the hill as we rode along there with Shea McNeely, you can see all of those dips and bobs in that road. All of those are going to manipulate the level of grip that you have available to you. So you really have to be able to feel and read when you're going to hit a crest and need to lift, or you're going to be in a compression and able to accelerate as you're going through the dipper, things like that. That's where you're going to make time and be able to get that great run down the hill. So nice clean lap here. Good to see everybody get through there, make it through. Unfortunately, no log jam on the way up the cutting to start here. So I'm looking forward to settling into a nice, clean, quick race.
That's right. No more endurance races this season. 60 minutes is the race tonight. Christopher Rowe, currently P7, looking up at CJ Barzak. These guys were both super fast in the practice. Christopher Rowe in the light blue NSX chasing the purple McLaren of CJ Barzak. John Daniels in the Ferrari right behind. The GT3 cars will have 2 pit stops to make it 60 minutes, as look at Pablo Araya sticking it in deep.
Yeah, he's up 4 spots already.
Look at them. Big mover, Pablo Araya in the chrome McLaren. He's getting pressure from Kyle Ryan.
Something might have happened to Ian Bakaitis. He's all the way back now in 13th, down some 8 positions. We're not sure what happened there. If we find out, we'll let you know.
Steve Hansel in the pit lane already. That's an early day for Steve. He was not looking forward to this track specifically, but he's been out for a couple of weeks. So welcome back, Steve. We're glad to have you.
Yeah, a little advice, Steve, unsolicited, but this isn't a track you want to let know in Australia if you don't want it to bite you.
571 feet of vertical elevation between highest and lowest points. Pablo Araya in the starlight.
At the top of the hill. He's back in 7th now in class.
He did drop back after making a great move. But he's clean. He's still in the race. Brian Sarton. Great to see Brian having a good run. Currently inside the top 10 as he's fighting it out with Troy Nissen. Here's a replay of Ian Bakaitis in the 22 BMW. On the inside, he's got, is that Chester Miller just behind him? Oh, they go too wide.
Yeah, that'll be why Ian Bakaitis has dropped back a little bit. Held the inside there to the outside, but wasn't prepared for up the inside there. Tried to come back on that apex.
Hard to go too wide into the chase, especially on lap 2.
It's definitely doable, but I think you'd prefer to do it in a GT3 with the extra downforce versus the GT4. But you can definitely get it slowed down. You just have to be prepared for that to happen. But it can definitely be tough, especially in the GT4 machine.
Johan de Roy continuing to lead. Less than half a second, though, over Jason Phillips and Shea McNeely. I think Jason might be biding his time. If you'll remember Imola, where Johan de Roy was forced to run out of gas with the pressure being applied from behind. It was maybe Jason Phillips and Shea McNeely are playing the long game. Right now it's probably a little bit early to talk about strategy as they're quite a ways away from catching any traffic. One good thing about a 3.8 mile course, you have over 2 minutes per lap. So hopefully we'll get some good green laps in before traffic becomes a factor, and then it's a different game.
Yeah, I do think, going up the mountain, there aren't many places you can get around somebody. So you can either look at it as a way to be forced into patience or a way to sit and just be frustrated that you're not able to make the move you want to make. So as we follow along here with Jason Phillips behind Johan, you can see there's places Jason can put his car to make Johan think. But if you're Johan, you really just want to be focusing on driving your corners and driving your run here, making sure you get a good run out of this area, because there's not much chance for Jason Phillips to get around here, especially this early, to try to make a dive.
But if the opportunity arises, Jason Phillips is going to be there to take advantage, and maybe even Shea McNeely as well. Not that Johan is liable to make many mistakes. Like you said, Max Bauer, welcome back to Midwest Motorsports, currently 5th after qualifying 5th, and now he is in the Ferrari.
Looks
Back
like
in
Jason got a better
Jason
run
run.
there. Slowly gaining hundredths here on Johan.
Looks like they're getting 2 wheels off before the kink.
Yeah, you like to use that runoff there just to make sure you're not scrubbing a bunch coming down into the chase there.
The sun continuing to set. It's going to be continuing to get darker and darker as the race goes on. Max Bauer, I'm not sure if he's thought about his pit strategy, but here's CJ Barzak, 2 cars behind Max Bauer. Max might be holding up Jason Wahlberg and CJ, but the gap 3.1 seconds up to Shea McNeely in the top 3. But tell you, it's great to have another great competitor as Jason Phillips continues to attack and defend at the same time.
Yeah,
Shea McNeely is coming with some heat.
Yeah, Shea's ready for Jason to put a foot wrong and just take advantage. Shea almost leading flag to flag last week.
Brutal.
Little touch of the wall there as you see the dust fly up.
Nice
Christopher
check, Adam.
Hopper's team able to put his car back together so he can get out. He's going to try to get off the racing line, and Jason Phillips is going to try to follow him. It's like no hard done. Shea may have had a little bit of a hang up there getting through, but
Part of it. Hopper did everything he could do there. Thank you, Christopher. Appreciate it. Cheers to you, sir. I know you're a little under the weather. Nothing, little scotch can't hurt.
yeah, the NSX just looks to be getting a much stronger run here. The NSX does really well.
Oh, he's overlapping. Side by side. This is where Ian Bacaitis and Chet Miller got tied up. Is Johan going to let him go? Let him complete the pass? Yes, he is. Jason will leave him a little room, but he's not there, not enough to take it. New leader, Jason Phillips in the NSX. Now let's see if he can pull away. And I tell you, there's no love lost between Shea McNeely and Johan DeRoy. Not only last week at VIR, it's been a long season as we wind down. Just 10 races. Feels like yesterday we were starting a new season. This one and one more, only Coda remain 47 points. The difference coming into this race, no more endurances, no more double points. Drop races are in effect. See how long it takes for Shea to catch up, if he can. John Daniels and Jack Lucas. Jack Lucas in the McLaren, and John Daniels is missing a front bumper, it looks like.
Yeah, not sure about the aerodynamic effects of that. I can imagine that's not very fun at the top of the mountain.
Might help with the cooling. Not going to help with the downforce.
I doubt it's going to cool off John's aggression. Here's the move here. Yeah, looks like just... Oh, maybe that wasn't it. Thought maybe we'd be able to see the replay there of where the front end came off, but it might have already been gone by that point as well, so who knows? These walls will come out and grab you. They're not afraid.
Hey, it's Norm Snyder on the hunt for some Rick Bundren, Porsche versus Porsche. Good to see Norm in the Gulf painted Porsche back in the GT4 Road Series.
Got the chrome wheels.
Looking
Very
good.
classy. Michael Harris was calling Norm out. So, oh no! Well, I was going to say Norm's getting the better of him, but...
Oh, Norm.
Oh, he's in the pit lane now. He's able to get just where he said it.
It's going to be an unsafe entry.
It's not, anyone who's watched any supercars at Bathurst knows that it's not uncommon to end up on pit lane accidentally. I've seen plenty of crashes into there.
You can blame the broadcasters for that one, Norm. We were talking good about you.
I thought Michael Harris was one of them.
Yeah, right. And yeah, that's right. Michael Harris joins me on Sunday afternoons for the Cup Series. If you haven't heard any of the Cup Series commentary, me and Michael have a great time on Sunday evenings. You can always join us about 7 o'clock, 7:30 when the race starts. Gonna have to get familiar with Max Bauer's paint in the Ferrari. Definitely not used to seeing the car on track. Jason Wahlberg, though, the orange NSX, continuing to have great runs. Currently third in the points. 85 points ahead of John Daniels. It's a good result here. That will definitely help pad that 85-point gap. Jason Wahlberg with the win this season at Laguna Seca. There's Chet Miller. That's a little early for GT4.
Yeah. Not sure if he took some damage or what. Car's doesn't appear to be up, so maybe a fast repair here. If we see any damage, we'll let you know.
Might be repairing. Yep, that's a long. Oh, maybe his pit window's open. Chet Miller has had more than a couple of great runs this year.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Thaler in the GT3 Dark Horse Mustang getting pressure from Jesse Coffey as they go across the line to start their 7th lap. As the lights come on, I like the Road Series green a little better than the orange on that Dark Horse Mustang. Track Racer on the hood. Jesse Coffey live streaming. Wonder what he's talking about now. He's looking at the back of Justin's Dark Horse. Justin Thaler up 4 spots. Jesse Coffey up 1. Ford versus Porsche. Jesse Coffey filling up the mirrors.
Ian Bakaitis slowly working his way back through the field.
Ryan Sarton on the attack.
Yeah. Chasing Troy Nissen. CJ is all over Jason Wahlberg. A little wiggle from Jason there.
Putting the power down. Ferrari, Acura, McLaren, 4, 5, and 6.
Is a little squirrely. I think it has a little bit of a shorter wheelbase to boot. But it has pace here at this circuit. We know that.
Your leader, Jason Phillips, takes over the fast lap of the race with a 2:04.1. Extending his lead just over the 2-second mark. through the cutting, now up the hill. This section from turn 5 all the way to turn 10 and Skyline. It's enough to get your heart going. One small mistake and you're in the concrete wall or in the golf trap here on driver's right.
Whoa.
Is the GT3, GT4 cars. There's the differential in speed. Great job by the GT4 car to know.
Yeah,
where to go and just have
it's just a blast. Once you, the top really is about flow and feel. You know, you're feeling out the grip of that car, especially over the hour of this race. You know, that car is starting to slide. You need to adjust to that. You know, it's just such a satisfying section to go through because you are not looking around for landmarks and things to do. You're actively driving the entire time. It is not a restful stretch of road by any means. Which is why it's such a relief once you get to Forest Elbow and start chugging down the hill and you can start to let your breath out and relax.
Ian Bacchus all the way back up to 5th. Hunting down Pablo Araya. He's got the leaders behind him with a heat battle for second. Not far back either. Ian Bacchus flashing on Pablo. Pablo does not have to pull over and give that spot up for sure. Here comes
Jason.
the GT3. Glad they both see. Ian's not going to take advantage here, is he? All right.
That was Ian's
Peter Monahan.
birthday earlier this month, so
Whoa.
birthday to Ian. That's why he's flashing his lights, I assume. It's his birthday month. Interesting to see how traffic might play out here for Johan and Shea. Taylor Montague, touch of the wall there.
Thank you, Taylor. Great job.
I mean, it's really tough. I mean, you watch these. Yeah, it's tough. There aren't a lot of different lines that you're taking through this. You're normally going single file through here, so when somebody's cutting through, it's not probably something that people have practiced. Even if you jumped in a practice session, you didn't have 30 cars.
Right. Johan got through the fight there from the GT4 battle a little bit.
Yeah, opened up opened up a nice gap there. There's Kyle Ryan. Kyle's in third right now. About a second back, Jason Geyer. Jason moving over for Shea to come through allowed Kyle to catch back up. Somebody's going in the pit. Looks like Max Bauer. Might be our first taker for pit strategy.
20-20-20 for Max.
James in the background coming in the GT4s. I wonder if Max will take tires here. I'm not. He will. Looked like some body work on that car moved. I don't know if if you can trust the iRacing graphics enough to know if that meant that he took some repairs on that or what, but he must think that new tires and clear track must be worth some time. This is a track that you could get quite a few laps of clean air. So I do wonder if maybe that's part of his strategy to pit early is to get away from traffic. He's out back now with CJ Barzak. CJ has pit. So these are the leaders on the undercut strategy. Nathan Westland, John Daniels also have been in the pits. John Daniels might have been to get a new nose. I'm not sure if he actually made a pit stop or not, but it was lap 9, so it may have been. Nathan Westland may have started in the pits, so he may not have taken his pit stop yet.
.3 seconds the gap now from this battle to our leader, who comes into the pits just in time.
I was going to say, a great way to make sure you have clean track is just to get out in the lead with a 4-second head start, but we'll see how this pit cycle comes together. It's looking like, let's see, what have people been? About 50 seconds of pit lane time for the others who have stopped. 51 seconds, 52 seconds. Jason taking tires. Johan not taking tires. Shea not taking tires.
Not Porsche Acura. Jason Wahlberg stays out one extra lap, as well as Jack Lucas. So get points for leading a lap, bonus points.
Again, we don't have a good way to know when people take tires which they take, if they take fronts or rears or what they're able to do. I think you might be able to take one or the other without taking a penalty on your fueling time. So Jason may have taken fronts or rears, whatever he felt he was wearing out more so.
On the outside, what an attempt. Shea McNeely threatening to go around the outside in turn 2. Griffin's around. Johan DeRoy tucks back in right at the last second, but putting Johan under pressure to see if he makes any mistakes.
I said before, these two don't make many mistakes, but when we say they don't make mistakes, they seem to. So I'll keep my mouth shut.
And just it's not going to take much.
No.
Get it wrong just a little bit. Speaking of small margins, Kyle Ryan and Ian Bakaitis. Ian puts that BMW inside. Kyle does a great job of leaving room. It takes 2 to pass there for sure. Ian Bakaitis
And it
buying
is
drinks for Kyle after the race.
more or less confirmed in the GT4, the BMW has been a fast car among the GT4 meta. For whatever reason, it really just hooks up here and puts the power down. So Ian's got a nice recovery drive on the way here, but he is absolutely carving through the field with this thing and is at least 0.2 faster than Nick Aslin in the lead. I'm not sure that. No, nobody else is. I mean, Nick Aslin almost a 2:16 flat. Jason Geyer a 2:16.25. Ian Bakaitis a 2:15.8. So quite a bit of speed over the field in that BMW.
The Porsche battle for second. The GT3 rages on. 3 seconds behind your leader. It continues to get darker. The headlights lighting up the road ahead. Lighting up the traffic ahead. Oh, as Johan DeRoy gets a traffic jam. Steve Hansel can't disappear. Nothing Steve's doing wrong here. Good on Shea for not attacking too hard.
That car got some repairs earlier, the Corvette of Steve Hansel.
Mixed class racing in the Midwest Motorsports League carries on. Both Porsches get by Steve Hansel.
That's a lot of cars going through there.
Gaggle of cars, some people would say.
Yeah, maybe I would call it a murder.
Murder.
About the only person with clean air right now is Nicholas Aslan. Got Michael Harris following along. It'll be a little bit here before the GT3s catch Nick. If he's lucky, once he's on his way back down the mountain, so that won't be a bother for him. Jason Phillips with some time to think about what he might have for lunch tomorrow before he's got any moves to plot.
Troy Nissen looking for James Zangi. Troy in the Mercedes. James Zangi in the white and blue Porsche Cayman.
Yeah, James has been pretty consistent so far. In the GT4s, Nick Aslan, Ian Bakaitis, Jason Geyer, Pablo Araya, Taylor Montague, Chet Miller all yet to stop. Or has Chet Miller stopped? Chet Miller has stopped. So up to Taylor Montague of all are yet to stop. So you have to imagine with about a minute of pit time for those that have stopped in GT4 that Chet Miller is going to have a pretty nice lead once those guys do stop. Oh no, Jason Geyer's backwards.
Oh.
Oh no!
Who was that?
That was Jason Wahlberg.
Wahlberg. It looked a lot like Jason Phillips too, but it's Wahlberg. Oh, it's so unfortunate for Wahlberg.
Yeah, you cannot
He's gonna
come
need
to
some
a
repairs.
there's so much speed that coming down the hill there, it's just, you're not going to get stopped. See here, that grass, the sand, it's not going to slow you down. Just skidding across it.
Nothing you can do but get on the mic and say, hold up, I'm trying.
Yeah. Grenade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Torpedo.
Oh, yeah, that's a bummer, but that's not the first and won't be the last time that somebody has had a runaway down the hill here at Bathurst.
Very Monza-like. Battle for second rages on. Johan de Roy in the black Porsche, followed by Shea McNeely. Ebbs and flows through traffic as they're on the GT4 leader, Nicholas Aslan. Mercedes should provide a good slipstream for him. Maybe not. With a big lead. Aslan, I'm sure, will just let McNeely go.
Yeah, I assume this will continue on for the next 30 minutes unless something happens in the pit cycle. Jesse Coffey makes his way around Ian Bakaitis. Jesse looking up the road at Justin Thaler. Lost a little bit of time getting around Ian, but time to close that gap in. It's at the top of the hill. I would assume that the Porsche is a little bit easier to navigate through the top of the mountain than the Mustang, but the Mustang is going to rip and roar down the mountain with a lot more pace than that Porsche. I know the Porsche drivers before this race in the GT3s were concerned what pace they might have with that machine, just that it doesn't have that same top end pull. But I'd assume up through here, it's a little more nimble than the American muscle. Just right through there. Jesse picks up about 4/10. Now about 5 or 6/10. And I assume here Justin is able to take that back. So you can see the dynamics playing out in these cars over the lap.
Past the halfway point. Jason Wahlberg still in the pits after the contact.
Yeah, unfortunately, that team's going to have some work to do to get that thing back on the track. Nick Aslin coming into pit. That should bring Ian Bakaitis around for the lead. About 40 more seconds left of stop for Nick Aslin. Ian is yet to stop. Nick choosing to take tires. Taylor Montague following. So it'll be close here. Nick might be able to get out before Chet Miller gets down onto the pass through turn one. Yeah, Nick Aslin's back out on the front stretch. Here in the background comes Chet Miller, but he has Nick in his sights. Chet has already stopped on lap 6. So it was quite early. Not sure if Ian's trying to just see how much he can pick up on the overcut here, given he did have that incident. Taylor Montague out of the pits immediately. Passed by Pablo Araya and on the hunt. See if he can get that position back or stay at least in tow while he's bringing those tires into range. Chris Hopper in the pit, getting a belly rub from the mechanics. Johan's opened up at least a second gap here on Shea McNeely. Not sure if that was through traffic or how that came to be. Jason Phillips hasn't looked back since he took the lead. Hasn't been much for him to look back to. Oh, David Stark backwards. Looks like he's just going to jump to the pits there.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, terrifying when you end up, just a
Ooh,
full
coming
slide.
down. Maybe too much curbing on the entry of that one, or trying to get some rotation early. Oh, bummer.
Yeah, could have just, getting on the brake, could have just unloaded the rear a little bit. Once you get on the brake there, it's kind of, it can be tough with a crest to try to brake when you're, like at Laguna, maybe when you're coming up the hill, you're braking hard going up the hill, have to relieve some of that pressure as you crest and lift the weight off the tires. And then once it levels back out, apply more brake pressure again. So it's kind of, I think braking can be a lot more dynamic than I think a lot of people give it credit. So going down the hill there, I mean, you're braking really hard. Then once you go over that crest, you really have to be careful not to lose the rear end. So unfortunate for David Stark, especially because when you're backward there, you almost just feel the need to reset to the pits because it's not a place you want to be with a dozen other cars coming down the pipe.
Yeah, we got to be careful about talking about loose rear ends here. It is a family show, but I tell you, I think David Stark also lost it very similar fashion at Laguna Seca and the kink coming up to the corkscrew. So the Audi of David Stark has shown speed.
Check your brake bias. You don't know the next time you might get a number 2.
Everyone's a blessing. Hopper is he in attack mode? Looking up at Michael Harris. I believe he is. King Christopher Harris. This is probably going to be a highlight reel for Michael Harris, battling it out with one of the league's MVPs. Harris holding his own. Good on you, Michael. Glad to see you on the track.
And Michael proudly announced his return tonight, so he's going to have to hold it down here. Try not to end up in the highlight reel for Hopper's flu game. The cockpit of Hopper's car full of phlegm from his head cold. It's fun in the in-cockpit view here just to see as the cars kind of yo-yo between each other here in closeness.
Hopper with a good exit. Is he in the slipstream enough? He pokes out. No flashing lights. Will he go deep? Hopper's on the gas, full throttle. Michael Ayers trying to make his Cayman as wide as he can. Oh, he's got a good run. Hopper late on the brakes. Michael sees him. Here we come into the hard left. Oh, not this time, Hopper. Michael slams the door shut. This time, however, Hopper lifts as well. 18 minutes to go. Don't want to ruin anybody's race.
Yeah, we'll let them figure that one out. We'll check back in a bit. See how they're doing. Meanwhile, Shea able to close that gap right back up. Just teasing that inside. Again, by this point, who knows how much debris is on that area again with the new updates to iRacing, you will get local yellow flags for debris. I know at least at Laguna Seca, that was pretty much constant at the top by the corkscrew that there was debris up there. So you don't know getting offline in some of those areas how sketchy they're going to be.
Couple of GT3 cars deciding to make pit stops this lap.
Yeah, Max in again. Doesn't look like his car is up right now. Justin Thaler coming in, doing a Shriners crossover with John Daniels. It's like Max has already cycled back out. So that should be Max's last stop. CJ's been under the radar. CJ has been, I think, the first taker on both pit stops thus far. Ford versus Ferrari right here in your own living room.
You can look at the M&Ms on the top of the track map. We're into the cutting. Named after the tree removal when they were designing the track and putting on the power. Justin Thaler on full attack mode.
Yeah, almost the exact same time on the pits. So unlikely there's any difference in strategy there for these two.
Jack Lucas was in this fight with Justin Thaler. Jack still has to pit.
Justin just losing touch at the end there, trying to wiggle that big car through. Christopher Rowe, Jesse Coffey coming into pit for their final time.
Where do they slide out for the battle in the top 10? We will find out. There's Max Bauer. CJ Barzak and Jack Lucas both got around. Oh, Jack Lucas still has to stop. But CJ
Right, correct.
did get around.
Yeah, CJ is leading the undercut strategy thus far. It's been 10 laps since Jason Phillips last pitted, so I wouldn't be surprised if he brings it in here. Johan and Shea also came in that same lap. Jack Lucas came in lap 12.
Right on cue, Jason Phillips, your leader, Johan DeRoy and Shea McNeely. In for their final stop, Shea McNeely within a second. Right where he wants to be going into the final stint. As Jesse Coffey fights down the mountain. In front of Justin Thaler. A little pit strategy for Jesse Coffey, one lap over. Oh no, what happens to Hopper?
Oh, he
Purple
just,
people leader.
this was supposed to be him getting around Michael Harris, but doesn't appear to be what that replay was, so apologies for that. But he did find his way around Michael Harris eventually. So here we go. Shea McNeely around Johan de Roy after the pit cycle.
There it is.
50-second stop for Jason Phillips. 46.2 pit lane time for Shea McNeely. 47.67 for Johan. So I'm not sure if Shea was more aggressive on how little fuel he took, or maybe on pit in. Yeah.
11.3 stop for Shea, 12.0. So only 0.7, but they were 0.3 behind each other coming in. So maybe.
So who knows? Sometimes the frustrating thing is sometimes the system can add a couple extra more, gallons of fuel than you intend to. So it isn't frustrating that strategy can play into your actual time on track here. So now, after a leisurely stroll for most of the session, Jason has got 2 people in his rearview mirror I don't think he'd like to have at this point in the race.
Total stop time for Jason Phillips, 14.8, a full 3 seconds plus longer. So that's where all his gap went as they used a little service cut to line up. Into the chase one more time. Jason Phillips, your race leader from lap 3. New second place, Shea McNeely in the white wins.
Nick Aslan still holding the 4-second lead on Ian Bacaitis. All the stops taken already for GT4. Is Ian still flashing?
Yep, we know which one's Ian. We know what 4 seconds looks like.
Good Lord. Ian, a big fan of sparklers as a kid.
This is what 0.3 seconds looks like. Jason Phillips to Shea McNeely. How bad does Shea want to win? Make up some ground. They're losing a little bit during qualifying. Well, second row, so that's not too much. Oh, what a great shot from the rear bumper of Jason Phillips. Looking back at at Shea McNeely. What a great shot, purple sky.
Yeah, great sunsets here at Bathurst. One of the things that makes the 12 hours so special. That crazy early sunrise. The delirium of the Australian fans who've been grilling all night and all morning. This should be where Jason's able to open up a little bit of lead. Yeah.
Once again, the the Road Series at Midwest Motorsports does not disappoint. We've had these kinds of battles week in and week out. Both divisions, GT4 and GT3. Right now, the GT3's putting on a show. 1, 2, and 3 in class. 1, 2, and 5 in points. Four more to go. I tell you, it's going to be close on fuel if they under-fueled by 1 lap. Not only is this a long lap, but you really don't want to miss an estimate of how many laps remaining with under 15 seconds when they cross the line. Could be an extra lap.
CJ in 4th still, but CJ is within 2 seconds from Max Bauer. 7.5 minutes to go.
Up the hill, Justin Thaler. back to the front. Ian Bakaitis in the BMW. Is the leader going to get by? This is going to bring everybody close. It's going to hold up Johan de Roy as well. Ian cannot get out of the way fast enough. And the race is on. Shea McNeely in the white lens in the Porsche, still holding on to second, but just barely. Getting a bump draft from Johan de Roy as they come into the right-hand kink before the chase. Blocking. Oh, going for the lead. Shea McNeely hard on the brakes. Brake disc flowing. Johan de Roy wants second place. He's not going to let Shea McNeely get away. And now Jason Phillips on the outside of Johan de Roy in the final corner. New leader Shea McNeely for the first time this race. Your points leader now leads the race. The battle for second rages on. The NSX of Jason Phillips going from first to third after being so patient behind Ian Bakaitis in the twisties. May have cost his run down the long Conrad Straight.
He's still got toe.
Shea McNeely 1.2 seconds the lead now. Aslan does a great job of getting out of the way, or is that?
That's Nick there. Your leader in GT4 still.
Or Nissen? I'm sorry, not sure. Okay, Aslan, all good?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Max within a second of CJ now. 1 through 5 up for grabs here in the GT3 division. Johan still within a second of Shea as Shea has to get around Troy. Looks like after this, they're pretty clear for GT4 traffic, so it is just going to be down to pace for these GT3s.
The yellow dot on the screen is who we're watching. 1, 2, and 3, and for the overall lead. Huge points implications here. 1.1 seconds. Shea McNeely, your points leader, holds the gap to Johan de Roy. Picture perfect. Lap after lap after lap after 60 minutes. These guys, you can throw a blanket over the top three.
Yeah, it seems like about the worst thing you can do right now in the GT3 division is lead a race for 40 plus minutes.
Seriously. Jesse Coffey is behind Justin Thaler again. So good on JT to make a move to get in front of Jesse. Now, let's see if Jesse can return the favor. Doesn't take much to lose a spot. One brush against the wall, a little bit of off track.
Looks like Chet Miller did need to come in for another stop after stopping on lap 6. So that should allow Kyle Ryan through into third. Pablo Raya into fourth. Taylor
Hey,
Montague. That's right. That's what James says.
I had to get in there. We love you. Chet pulls back out.
Oh, looks like today's commentator curse will Raya into fourth was from Jen Phillips, who said look at Jason in first. Wahoo! So we didn't do it this time. Yeah, we wish you were here, Chase. This would have been a great race for you to be involved in. Strong run here from Jason. Fast all day. Probably going to wonder what happened in that pit cycle that just took a little too long. Not sure if it was more fuel than he intended. I know sometimes crew chief can add some laps, but he's still within touch, but there might be a lap left, I think, after this. That was a lengthy stop for Chet Miller, it looked like. Oh, he looks like, did he come back into the pits? Got Collada here, heading up the hill, letting the leaders in the GT3 class head through. Nice communication there, letting them know where he's going to be and putting his car. Chase confirms that Jesse Coffey has some wheel damage, so that car is not 100%. Jason trying to back up this exit here to get the run he can. Looks like Johan just a little brush of the wall. Let's see if that costs him any or not. Jason gaining hundredths on him. Now within 5/10. Not sure if that'll put him close enough to force a move here, but he's now close enough to Johan for Johan to have to worry. 4/10 separate third place and second place.
The timer clicks down. 3, 2, 1, 0. The final lap. Race to the line for Shea McNeely, Johan DeRoy, Jason Phillips in third. This is the final lap. Did they save fuel?
Looks like Christopher Rowe had to pull in. Not sure if that was a pit stop or a drive-through. Was sitting in fifth, so
Only one off track, so I'm guessing that was fuel.
yeah.
Jason Phillips has not given up the fight for second.
The worst part of the fuel saved strategy is actually executing it.
Easy for us up here in the booth, right?
I ran out of gas at at Michigan in the Truck Series, so I can't comment. Thank you to Justin Thaler for pushing me across the line for my finish.
Under a second, Shea has to get a good run out of the exit. A forced elbow for the final time. Under a second between the top three drivers. Johan DeRoy holding on to second place. Jason Phillips in third, but up front, 0.7 seconds up the road. Your points leader, Shea McNeely, makes it around for the final corner for the final time and takes the checkered flag.
Wow.
Great race by Johan DeRoy for second. CJ Barzak's going to hold on for fourth.
What a solid day for CJ. Nick Aslin here behind John Daniels coming in for the win here in GT4. 4 seconds. Great run here for Nick Aslin. Ian Bakaitis coming in for second after having an incident there in the chase. Not
Great
expecting
job.
someone to come up the inside, driving back to second. So strong finish there. Kyle Ryan working on bringing it home in third place here. So that's a great finish for Kyle. Kyle's had some bad luck despite some great races. So good to see Kyle get back up on the steps. So work his way around Christopher Hopper.
Way to go, Kyle. Good job, Hopper.
Go ahead and take it away, James. Pablo
All
Araya
right.
crosses in fourth.
Incredible racing. Trying to find everybody in here for the interviews.
Oh, I was just trying to get you to drop another Hey Queen.
Roger that. You're always welcome. It's great to see you, Queen. One more race this season. Come back next week. Thanks to everybody for tuning in on the new home of Midwest Motorsports, our YouTube channel.
Yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. We see you out there in the chat. Thanks for hanging out in the chat. Another great race from our drivers here. We had a couple retirements. Mount Panorama always takes its cars. Never one to leave a car entirely installed. Strong runs here from many people. Shea McNeely coming back from heartbreak last week to win this week with Johan in his rearview mirror this time. Jason Phillips unable to hold those guys off, just as his pit stop time just took a little bit longer, about 3 extra seconds in the pit stall for Jason on that final stop to Johan and Shea, just for them to able to get around. He wasn't able to make his way around Johan at the end. Johan and Shea and Jason were within seconds of each other at the end. So great finish from those guys. Unfortunate for Jason that he took maybe too much of a splash or tire or something held him up in that pit stall. CJ Barzak, a strong day, just quiet, not in any trouble. Early on the strategies for the undercut, able to hold off Max Bauer returning to the league. Max super fast, so great to see Max back. Immediate top 5. So we see somebody going backward through the gravel there. John Daniels 6th, Justin Thaler 7th. Jesse Coffey unable to get around, as we're told by Chase Fincher, had some wheel damage. Jack Lucas 9th, Christopher Rowe 10th. Looked like he took a late pit for some fuel. Nathan Westland 11th, starting from the pit. David Stark 12th after going backwards up at the top of the hill. Nick Aslin, your winner in the GT4s. Strong day from Nick Aslin. Didn't look back once he got the lead. Ian Bakaitis, a strong recovery drive after getting into some trouble there in the chase. Kyle Ryan, great to see a P3 for Kyle Ryan. Nice strong run. Got in some incidents early on, but was able to claw back and make that run stick. Pablo Araya 4th, back in top 5. Taylor Montague 5th. Jason Geyer 6th. Work my way over here. Chet Miller 6th, having to stop late. James Angie 7th. Brian Sarton 8th. Rick Bundren 9th. Matt Collada 10th. Christopher Hopper 11th. Or 12th, I'm sorry. Michael Harris 13th. Troy Nissen 14th. Norm Snyder 15th. Michael Harris getting the better of Norm Snyder as Norm took the juju from Michael Harris and wrecked somehow into the pit lane. I'm not quite sure how Norm pulled that off, but in his wisdom, he has his ways. So James, what do you got for us?
Man, incredible racing all season long. We are winding down both GT3 and GT4s. We have the GT4 winner in the booth with us, Nicholas Aslin. Great to see you. Congratulations on a great run. Talk us through your Mount Panorama race.
Oh my gosh. I have no words. I can't believe the run that I just had at this track. Like, I can't believe it. I kept it clean, entire race, 0x. I don't know. Oh my gosh. But just what a race. Shout out to Ian. Oh my gosh, he almost made me throw it away. I don't know how big my lead was, but it was big. And
15.
I was maybe a little too conservative with my pit entry. I really was unsure of where the pit line was, so I was very conservative on my pit entry. I probably could have gotten away without taking tires, but I took fronts. And when I cycled around after Ian pit and saw that gap at like 6 seconds, I almost wanted to just like ramp it off the mountain. I was so in disbelief at myself that I had given up that much time. Um, but yeah, I mean, honestly though, maybe this is a little more rewarding that Ian made me work so hard for it there at the end to keep pace and um, just go fast. I don't know. I guess I'm not allowed to say. I mean, I know Justin's told me already, but I'm really not allowed to say that I don't know how to road race anymore.
Yeah.
After this, put it on pole by like 7/10. I have no words for how I was that fast.
Well, I was going to ask if you got some practice in before the race, and also talk us through next week at Coda.
Yeah. I I had done some practice. I did like very short practice last season before this race, and I ended up not racing it because I was really sick that week. Um, and so I had like that little bit of knowledge of the track from the practice I had done last season, and I joined Jason Phillips' session that he put up yesterday for a little bit, and did about 20 minutes of practice before the session opened today. And I mean, I don't know. Like some of my other good performances have come this season. This is a track I had known from Gran Turismo. I was familiar with it. To be honest with you, I sucked on it on Gran Turismo, and granted that's with a controller. Absolutely hated this track on Gran Turismo, and so again, I can't really explain to you why I was so fast. I wish my dad was here in the race, although he probably would have been sitting in the pits already, because he hates this track as well, and I know he wasn't very confident with having to run this one, and he was kind of glad he missed it. So
All good. Well, we're looking for both of you Friday as we go into the truck series. Hopefully, you guys can make it. Until then, yep, no more road race rookie for you, Nicholas. Congratulations on a great race win at the mountain.
yeah, thank you again. Looking forward to Coda next week as well. That's a track I really enjoy. Haven't done a lot of laps there, but it's a track I definitely enjoy. So excited to go there.
All right. Drinks on our buddy Nicholas Aslan tonight at the bar. You know where to find him. Congratulations, Nicholas. Up next, we have our GT3 winner, Shay McNeely. There is a party in the broadcast booth. It's been a long time coming, and you are back on the top, Shay. Congratulations on a great win. I'm trying to unmute you. You might have to unmute yourself. There you go.
There we go.
Congratulations, man. Let's get a jig on it. Drinks
That,
for
thank
everybody.
you. Oh man, it was a tough one.
Well, talk us through it. We did a little lead follow, starting from the second row at the beginning through 2 pit stops, and then talk us through that final stop where you came out ahead of Johan.
Well, in all honesty, I thought this race was going to be kind of in the bucket. I was doing practice and I just couldn't get on time with everyone else. Came to the track and got a really lucky jump on, I think it was Wahlberg, to take third, and I just tried to stick with everybody through it. I managed to stick with Johan for a while. I think my fuel calculator was getting me just a little bit less fuel than Johan, which put me out a little bit quicker. But yeah, that last stop, it just, I don't know what happened. I was right up there with him.
Drop the clutch and go. Well, after a hard fought couple of races, glad to see you back on top again as your points lead will extend only a little bit as Johan Roy still held on a second. He beat you in qualifying, so we'll have to wait for Steve Ansel to work out the points. But talk us through the season finale at Coda, you still should have 25, 30-point lead coming in, which is really only 1 or 2 positions, Shay, not to mention qualifying. So all to play for.
Oh yeah, it's looking like I'm gonna have to stick right with Johan if I want to keep it. It's this is gonna be a tough finish, and you know what? It's entertaining right down to the wire.
That's right. I'm here for it. Until then, enjoy your win. Celebrate this week. Shay McNeely is your winner in a super close race. 1.3 seconds between first and third after 60 minutes. That's the road series we know and love, the Midwest Motorsports track series. Adam, how about your final thoughts for tonight?
I'm all out. I'm out of thoughts the same way that many drivers were out of fuel there with a lap or two to go. It's a long lap around. If you miss your fueling for a lap around here, 2 minutes up and down the mountain is not one you'll make back up. Great run. Great to see another strong run from Jason Phillips. Just not able to complete it, get the job done there, but we saw some great runs from a number of people. The mountain, I think, brings out the best in many people. The GT3s finishing that close together after an hour, I think, is amazing. An hour and 2 pit stops each. So excited for the finale. We'll see what happens here. I don't think that Shay and Johan will finish very far apart from each other.
You're going to have to find out here tuning in next Tuesday night, 7:25 is when the race starts. Until then, for all the Midwest Motorsports admin that make this league great, I'm James J. for Adam Sondag and Josh Watt, reminding you to stay in your lane.
And I approve of this message.